can improve overall business performance, can help in increase in revenue by giving access to further markets, connect with customers in a completely new way. And the greatest thing I think what's changed in the last year or so is really the software as a service or the cloud computing opportunities, or manner of delivery of services that have come in. And that basically means that you try before you go. Sorry about the spelling there. And you pay before you pay, and you pay as you go. So that's, I think, something that's completely critical. You can scale up and scale down your IT resources and services that are deployed depending on the business efficiencies that they're giving you. And there's practically no upfront investment. You can literally try most of these services before you go. So the web is, I think, one area that I've already elaborated on. So what technology, whether it's the web or industry and business specific smart business applications, again something that can end up saving them a significant amount of cost, and the mobility based applications, which I'll touch upon. So as I said, some of these are not completely relevant, but they're technology options that are available to you. As I mentioned, a website and a professional email ID in today's day and age is completely mandatory. You can, anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 rupees or even less, you can actually have, even if you have a single page with an email ID where somebody can send an inquiry and basic information about the company, it's something that's absolutely critical. For a lot of businesses who are exporting and even otherwise within India, depending on the nature of your business, it's pretty easy to actually sell from your website as well. And there have been numerous success stories, albeit limited in terms of turnover because of the total internet using population and the total amount of e-commerce that takes place in India. But believe me, it's something that I think over the next few years is going to completely explode. It may not even be a public or online facing kind of a scenario. It may just be interlinkage of suppliers and people who are buying on the back end and the crowdsourcing based applications that I'll touch upon going further. Online marketing is something that I think is pretty crucial. As I mentioned, less than 0.18% of small businesses in India have a website, whilst 80% of internet using people, which is at about 85 million, use the web to research purchase decisions. There are more than 16 million small businesses, and less than 10,000 of them have actually used search marketing. I refuse to believe that there are not 150,000 to 200,000 businesses in India who are exporting in the region of 50 crores to less in a year, okay, where the critical issue is who to sell to, and they're constantly traveling and visiting exhibitions and trying to set up a stall over there or setting up stalls along with industry associations and then reaching their end customers. Most of their end customers in the foreign countries, this figure is 86% of people use the internet to research decisions. They can find you on the internet with a very, very small investment. It will not even be the cost of an economy class ticket to somewhere in Europe what you're going to spend over a 3-year period. Wow. So I think earlier in the day as well, people had talked about cloud computing and, what is cloud computing? I think let me get to that. My answer to that is that even I don't know. So I'm in the same company as 90% of the people in this hall when I actually say this. But I think the critical factor is you need to look at it from your point of view. Whatever it's called, whether it's SaaS or cloud computing or application service providers or whatever have you, is completely immaterial. The idea is that it's a new way of delivering IT efficiencies that earlier only larger organizations could make significant investments in and reap rewards from. And that new way basically allows you to try as you go. It allows you a huge amount of flexibility in terms of adding, reducing, deleting applications. And it basically allows you to use applications that other larger enterprises were using earlier by making very, very little upfront investments. Which means that whole thing about too expensive at least goes out of the window. Business applications are, I think, something that's going to be critical to what's going to be happening in the cloud computing way. I think one of the things I would say is here is that when you look at cloud computing, they talk about large mother clouds. So what is cloud computing essentially? It's just nothing but a share of pooled resources. And how did it come across was probably one of the reports that came out a while back, which said that at peak utilization, all the servers in the world are underutilized by 70%. Which is again tracking back to one of my slides where I said people are over-investing. You're over-investing because you're setting up only for yourself. If you were setting up collectively, you would reap huge rewards by doing that. And I think this is really a call to industry associations, presidents, and even influential people in specific industry pockets and clusters, is that if you really want to reap solid rewards out of your IT investments, you need to have a cooperative approach rather than a competitive approach. And that is, I think, something that at a principal level is absolutely critical. So you would have mother clouds, you would have regional clouds, you would have government clouds, you would have enterprise clouds. So what is enterprise clouds? It's nothing but, basically they've got a set of applications which are going to be large number of geographically disparate users, and they want their suppliers to link in, they want their customers to link in, and they're linking to a cloud a 360-degree application which basically looks after all their business processes. Now, if you conceptually put together 100 businesses in a cluster and were to, I'm saying conceptually imagine that all 100 of these businesses are merged under one unit, right? What would be the difference between a cluster-based cloud and an enterprise cloud? Absolutely nothing. So, again, a lot of the advantages that you find maybe your larger competitors who in your spaces have because of the IT investments they've made can reach right down to the very, very micro and small enterprise if you go towards a cooperative approach and you move towards a cooperation as far as especially your IT investments are concerned. I'm sure a manufacturing expert can tell you that there is going to be huge advantages even in that. Again, SaaS-based applications, it's really software as a service. I don't see it extremely different from the way cloud is. You don't need to make upfront investments. Everything is taken care of by the service provider, and you just basically reap the rewards of business efficient application. There's a lot that can be done for web apps in terms of collaboration, the project management, knowledge sharing, wikis, meetings and calendars, CRM and SCM, unified communications. Again, most of these investments can again be made in a cooperative approach. The SCM side is something that I'm going to touch upon a little bit going forward. Disaster recovery. You make IT investments and then a consultant comes and tells you if you are slightly on the upper end of the medium enterprise that look, you don't have a disaster recovery solution. And then what he tells you is that you have to invest 70% of what you invested in the first architecture again in order to get a disaster recovery solution. And I think some of the services that are available from a number of data centers across the country will be able to give you the same disaster recovery services at a fraction of the cost. And again, each one of the things I'm talking about can be cooperative in nature. Online backup and recoveries, again another service that not a lot of people use. I was talking to somebody who's a very high up guy in one of India's leading accounting software.